Hey everyone, how's it going this week? This week we're going to be going over some exciting stuff. Specifically, we're getting ready to move Empire 6.0 out of beta, and so I figured it would be a good time to go ahead and review kind of some of the upcoming some of the changes that were in the beta and some of the future stuff we'll be doing for Empire. So that's what we'll be doing this week. It should be pretty cool. But first things first, well, I'll show you guys how to find this stuff on the Empire um, repo. That's not the sponsor one in case you aren't a sponsor. So if you go to our BC Security GitHub, you'll see Empire. You can also just search Empire BC Security and it should come up. Or Empire 3 or all of that stuff. So if you come in here, you'll see this is kind of this is 5.0 still, 5.12, not 5.0, 5.12. On this main branch, but if you click in the branch, you can go over to the 6.0 dev, and that'll switch over, and you'll see a number of the things that were updated. Anthony and Vincent have been doing lots of stuff to get this all updated and ready for everyone. And if you go into the changelog, you'll be able to see all the updates we've been making. The biggest one that's kind of going to probably be the most controversial for everyone is that we're officially deprecating the command line client. You used to be able to do PS-Empire client instead of server, and it would just give you like a CLI type of interface. That's going to be gone. It's for a number of reasons. One, not a lot of people are using it anymore. I know some people really love command line interfaces, but it's just not what is being used by most people anymore. Like we almost never use it. A big part of that is because the workflows that Empire supports now are just too complicated to do in a CLI. Like all of the like downloads and ability to download and upload files through the GUI and managing of buffs like that needs access to the file system. Like we had some hacky ways to make that happen from the command line. But it was just a lot of work to maintain it, and so we decided to go ahead and deprecate it. But don't fear, there is still a like a CLI-esque interface in the agent interfaces where you can do like the whole use module set, like all those kind of commands. I'll show it to you guys if you haven't used it before. It's really cool. But yeah, the command line interface will be no more. Just too much work to support, and it's here. Let me zoom. Sorry, guys, I should have zoomed in. And it's gone. So that's the most controversial one. The next smallest one will go up into like we'll start with the two smaller ones, and then go into the less fun ones into the two like newer fun ones. Anthony totally rewrote the C# compiler, so it works much better. Instead of having to install .NET when you install Empire now, you do still have to, or well, you have to install .NET, but not the SDK. So the Empire compiler is now just a precompiled exe that you pull down and run, rather than having to have the SDK and compile everything on the fly, including the compiler. It just makes things a lot faster, reduces the amount of stuff that needs to be installed for Empire so that you can run on smaller machines. It should just make things a lot smoother for installation. Which, speaking of, let's go ahead and like start installation. I do have it installed on this one already, but we're gonna go. So we'll go ahead and show off the open source one. I'll show, there is a handful of things that are still in the sponsors repo that have been released yet. It's mostly documentation that we're finalizing this week before we go out of beta, but I'll show it to you guys. But we'll just go install this in a random spot so that we don't have to worry about all of that stuff. So we'll just open the terminal here. And we'll just git clone down the Empire repo. So let me grab that repo address because we're not going to use my creds. So we'll just go back to Empire, and you can just use the HTTPS one and grab it, and then start installing. So if you ever used Empire before, this process isn't really any different. But I figured since we may have some people that aren't super familiar, we've been getting some newer people on the stream, that we'd go ahead and just kind of walk through the basics. And I will just go ahead and give you guys the link in case you need it. So cool. So once we've done that, we'll just transfer in. If you do a git status, again, this is mostly for people that haven't done this before. Oh, whoops. Now we can do git status. You'll see we're up to date with origin main. You're just going to want to do a git checkout. And if you just type 6.0, you should be able to tab complete it. And then we can do that. And then just do a git pull to make sure that you have everything. So from here, we can just do our normal /ps empire server. There's two flags. The tac y is just a force install or force answer yes to everything. When you're installing, that's not new. One of the newer ones we're not going to do here is the tac f, which allows you to force install as root. That's a bad thing to do generally, just from a security practices standpoint. You want to run with the least amount of privilege possible. But sometimes when you're running operations, it's way easier to be able to install as root, like especially if you're running in like certain AWS. That's not supposed to happen. So poetry. All right. So this is like one of the weirdness. So this issue will go away when everything gets moved to oh whoops, end views. Yep. 1 second, I forgot this. This will go away when we switch over to 6.0. The issue is coming from the fact that Empire 5.0 is installed on here. 1 second, I have notes over here on how to fix this. No, I forget how to fix this. That shouldn't be an issue though, because this, unless I opened the wrong, might have opened the wrong Kali box. Sorry, guys. Hold on. Let's just double check. This is why I need to. Yeah, I think I'm on the wrong Kali box. Nope, not this one either. Well, while this is starting up, I'll talk about the whiskey I'm drinking this week. So you probably can't see. This is an old bottle. That's not actually what's in it. That's why it's all like crossed out and stuff. But I've started buying, or actually I've had this one for a little while, but um, doing some more like older whiskey. So this is a 1971 Jim Beam. Um, these are kind of fun because you can get them for relatively inexpensive. They're like 40 or like $50 or something like that. And they're just old, so it's fun. Some people think like they taste different because they use the wood they used back in like the 60s and 70s for barrels tended to be older, and that can influence the flavor of the whiskey. So it's still just bottom shelf Jim Beam, but it does tend to be better than like modern Jim Beam. But it's kind of an interesting thing to do every once in a while. I'd love to get into some of the more interesting stuff like the old wild turkey and stuff, but those are all really expensive, so that probably won't happen anytime soon. Okay, this looks like we're on the right box. Yes, okay. I apologize for that, guys. Now I should not have that issue, so we'll do desktop. We'll do our git clone. Okay. Anyone got any fun weekend plans going on? Oh, let me. Okay. I'd also be interested to hear if anyone thinks if we should get rid of the. Oh, what the heck? I wonder if I just found a bug is what's going on, guys. Hold on. We might have just found a bug. I'm wondering if you try to install somewhere, but the home directory, if it causes a problem. This might also be a bug that Vincent fixed in some of the minor updates we're making. So we'll check that for the sponsors version if it's still not working. Oh, no, I'm just an idiot. Oops. I did see it. I did server, not install. That is 100% why that didn't work. So it was trying to run without installing everything. There we go. That was silly. That might have been the other. Was that the issue on the other one too? Was I just having a? Yeah, I said server instead of install. That was the issue. That's, yeah. Sorry about that, guys. That was a brain fart on my part. Oh, but we did have permission denied. Why did we get a permission denied? Well, looks like we're not getting that issue here. So we'll go over to this one again. Back to our original one. Okay, yep, this is installing properly now. Oh, wrong glass. So we'll install a bunch of stuff. While it's installing, we'll go back over. Let me check one thing. Okay. So we'll go back to our changelog. What is that? Sorry, guys. That shouldn't have happened. That should have been disabled. Yeah, so let's go back over to here. So if you were paying attention to the newer things on here that are pretty exciting are the Go agents. So Anthony has built out a Go agent for us. We'll go try and deploy that and test everything. Hopefully people have been testing it so that it works. I've tested it a little bit, so I know that it'll at least deploy on the initially, and we can run some modules. But that's kind of the biggest change that we have going on. And then we also have a plugin marketplace, which is really cool. I'll show you guys once this gets done. I'm very, very excited about the plugin marketplace. It's something I've been asking Vincent for a while. Don't worry, it is not like a paid marketplace or anything. It's just what we're calling it to be able to, for people to put stuff up on GitHub, and then you can see it natively inside of Starkiller instead of having to like go find a new project, clone it into the Empire folder like way in the back. Because what you had to do previously was all the way deep in that was interesting. Deep in the Empire server folder. I don't know if there's a way to. Well, I can make the folders bigger, but not the. Deep in the Empire server folder, so you go to Empire server, then plugins. You have to come in and like copy down all of these files, and you won't have to do this anymore with 6.0. Which is really cool. Everything's going to be installed in this now. We're also changing folder structures to make it more stable and reliable. Oh, it doesn't look like it's created. Oh, yep, there it is. So in this .local, now everything will be in here where we have like all of the pre-compiled stuff for Python things. You'll have the Python library installed here to create like more cached, like easy maintained Python environments. And then in the share is where like there'll be like a bunch of stuff for actually multiple programs. There's nothing in here yet from Empire, but some of the stuff will get installed in here. This is kind of like your app data folder in Windows. So this is like the better place for us to be putting all these things. So it'll be very cool once all this stuff is done. So we're just waiting for this to finish installing. But I'll show you. So I mentioned the marketplace. So what that's going to look like, which I don't believe is public yet, but I can show you guys what it looks like. And Vincent just made it public yesterday, so it is public now. So there's a whole bunch of stuff you'll be able to put in to host plugins for plugin registry, which are really useful, so that you'll have these YAML files that define like where the plugin is in the on GitHub, so that it'll know how to look for that. One of the nice things is so this is just the examples, and once you've started this, instead of having to maintain like an individual schema for each one with a description, if you, I'll show you guys what I believe this has our registry.yaml. So within this, so basically this will be hosted by us going forward in places for people to get it. And there will be plugins available for, and so we just have to add this to this registry, and then whatever plugin that someone wants to start hosting, we can add to this really easily. It just takes us 30 seconds to add one of these registry links, and you'll be able to host it. And one of the cool things is it'll make it much easier for people to find your plugins. We really want plugins to be more of a community-driven thing, so that people make new capabilities for Empire and keep pushing what Empire does, instead of having to rebuild like an entire C2 just to show off like a new technique. So you'll be able to give this to us, and then it'll just be available for everyone to find easily inside of Starkiller. Instead, people have to figure out where your Git repo is, and you're new to the industry and people haven't heard of you, so like you don't show up in a lot of Twitter feeds or Blue Sky or wherever you want to post now, and your GitHub doesn't get highly rated because you're just getting started out. Now you don't have to worry about all that stuff, because it'll just be in Empire and hosted within the actual application for everyone to find, and that should make things a lot better. What the hell? It installed 13.2. Pseudo poetry in. Okay. Let's try this one more time. I don't know why it's having such a hard time, because my what the hell? Let's just try this. Okay. We should be good now. There we go. Finally. I don't know what was going on with that, but that was a little painful. But like I said, that's partly because I've installed a bunch of stuff on this box, so we should be good going forward. Okay. Also, you'll notice that you no longer have to do the index.html to get the Starkiller anymore, because it used to be if you didn't include the index.html, it would just tell you that the website wasn't found. And so we now have our Empire. None of this will look different on the login page, but it is going to look different when we get in. So you'll see some of the stuff looks different now under stagers, like they're kind of realigned. Under listeners, you'll see that malleable profiles have their own page to be managed on now. And so like you can search through all of the profiles. You can edit them, which is like a really nice thing. So you can go in and edit and submit it. Or you can copy it if you want to just copy it. Now we have like a new one that we can create modifications to. This uses the Cobalt Strike malleable C2 profiles. So they should be pretty much like 95% cross compatible between each other. Occasionally there's one that won't work from Cobalt Strike in Empire. But generally, if it works in Empire, it will always work in Cobalt Strike. It's just sometimes the Cobalt Strike ones don't work with Empire. So we have that. If you come back here, you can also just create a blank one, but it just name category and then you drop in your malleable C2 code. But other than that, doesn't look like a whole lot different. We'll go ahead and create our stuff. This isn't going to look any different. This is all the same. Port 80 is already automatically propagated. You'll see things about a new listener created. We can go to stagers. You'll see that bypasses now has its own page for maintaining stuff, for updating it, and all that kind of stuff. We can create a stager. And here we will try doing a multi-launcher with Go. You'll see if we come in here, you'll see that Go is supported. So we'll turn this off and our safe checks off. Just go ahead. And we've got our stuff running here. Oh, wrong Galley box. So all things fingers crossed. Oh. Okay, there we go. There we go. All right, so we'll go ahead and, whoops, I accidentally copied this multiple times. We definitely don't need to download it like 5 times. Yeah. So for Go, you have to pull down an exe, so it just puts it into the temp path that's defined by default in Windows. It's just an environment variable. And then it just names it a random exe name. It'll then pull down, set up a net web client to download it, which is just a standard download cradle, and then we'll go ahead and start process. So let's see if this gets killed by Defender, because I did not turn Defender off. That's a good sign. Nothing's died yet. So we can go check and see if we got an agent. Didn't get an agent yet, so let's go see what Empire said. Oh, there's our stage. So we did get a check-in. So it did not die to... so as of right now, we get past Defender. That'll probably no longer be true in another week or two. But as of right now, the Go agent will get past Defender along with the download cradle in PowerShell. So let's see. Although it looks like the agent might have died, so I might have spoke too soon. Here, let's just run a simple who am I and see what happens. Yeah, not a good sign. Empire, I might have lied. Oh, nope, it did come back. Okay, we're good. We are all good. We're running. So one of the nice things, I wasn't sure if this worked anymore, or if not, but because it's starting a process using this start process, it actually doesn't hold open the PowerShell window anymore. So this can just close out, which is a really nice thing for if you're building any kind of your own download cradle. you can just use a start process in some shape or form, and it'll start running, and that's really useful because now you don't have to hold open. If you're doing old school macros, you don't have to hold open the Office process anymore or any of those kinds of things. So that's good, and we got our first Who Am I back. So now from here, as I mentioned, we got rid of the command line interface, but if you really want to use it, we've got this, which looks like the old command line interface that'll let you interact with stuff, which is really cool. So you have help. It tells you how to do all these things. So let's see. Let's just see. Sherlock's not going to find anything, but let's just try running it and see if it works. Okay, well, let's go to use module. Yep, okay. Oh, that's a new one. Version 1.23. Huh. Oh, let's go back to our modules and just try that. So let's try Sherlock from here. That might have been a bug I just found. Because I don't use the the terminal very often, and I haven't done a lot of robust checking on our Empire stuff. So yeah, I think that's an error. Okay, we'll just use one of our buffs then. We'll just go back to our buffs because that's what you're going to use mostly anyway. So we'll do a Who Am I? So we're still running. We can go check our tasks. Our Who Am I came back with a bunch of stuff. So there we go. So all of our buffs work. Let's try C#. I think that might just be a bug with our Empire language checking stuff. So there's probably not anything to dump in this. Yeah, net4 was fine. So because it's just a basic logon for like the default user. I don't even know that that user has any credentials to dump. And triage is just going to run some basic stuff when it comes back. So we'll run that. Yeah, so this is like the base64 encoded stuff that came. So our triage did run. Oh, says like so. So our Go agent is running fine, and our buffs are running. But because we tried to run just a straight up Rubius assembly, antivirus killed it. So we can go check this just to see. We can go to Windows Security. And we can go try running our Rubius again. And just see what happens here. And you can always go check on the server to see what's going on. But after we run this, I'll go show you guys the plugin market, which is pretty cool. So that task went out. We'll see if give it a few seconds. It should come back in there. So Rubius actually ran. So we can confirm that stuff ran, but we didn't get a lot of information because there's not a lot to find because it's just a Microsoft demo box. So that's kind of the Ghost stuff. We will have to see. But BOFs, we have like lots of BOFs that are available. So there's always there's lots of stuff that you can do with the BOFs to find things. So like we can get the task list. So we'll go ahead and execute. Oh, it's not domain joined. Never mind. Not what we're looking for. Let's see, what do we want to run here? A lot of this is just is like domain join stuff. So this will just list the visible windows. So let's see what this does. That's not supposed to happen. Well, the oh yeah, why did that get passed with that? Huh. Okay, I'm gonna have to check on that. We might have found a few bugs. I'll have to go check them in Empire 6.0. But let's go to the marketplace. So the marketplace, like I said, one of the cool things is that you'll now have a list of plugins that are available. These are the installed ones, and if you want to add a new plugin, or actually, sorry, these aren't the installed ones. If you click on installed plugins, you'll see that we don't have anything installed but our basic reporting plugin. But you go to this, and now everything will be listed with information about your various plugins. That's really nice. Like I know the Chisel Server plugin works and stuff. So you'll click install, and then go to plugin, and it'll show you it has documents for how to use it. Oh, this one has some old documentation that Kevin needs to update. So like you'll see, this is like Kevin Clark. He works for Trusted Sec. He's a guy that built this for us at one point. So this is his. So that documentation hasn't been updated yet. But once you have your plugins, like if we go to your plugins, one of the nice other upgrades is you'll now have plugin tasks. We don't have any tasks, but you'll be able to see like what the plugin has been asked to do and see if anything failed there, so you can get an idea of where things are failing within Empire. And so just some cool stuff like that. Does anyone have any questions about like Empire 6.0 or anything new like that? So you can see things that were compiled and downloaded. It's like Rubius was compiled and ran, and a couple other things. So we'll have to go. Let's see. Let's try just one more BOF real quick, just to see what's going on here. Let's try nanodump. That should do something. First, we need to get our process list. So for shell commands, if we just do a PS, we can run it. And so we get all our processes back. Here's our ID. So let's see what would be a good one. There's no LSS running. We'll just dump PowerShell. There's not really anything interesting going on in there at the moment, but we can dump it. And sure, we can call it CLSS dump. We need to elevate first. So we'll do a UAC bypass just so we can get an agent. We should have we should have a C# UAC. Oh no, I need to go add some. Those should have been in here. Okay, I will have to go fix that, I think. I know what the problem is. It's a language check issue between PowerShell and version 2. So I'm surprised none of our buffs have a UAC bypass. Let's try this task list again. Wimmy should have worked, but our PS command worked. Yeah, no, we've ran into this issue before. And we never figured out what the issue is. Okay, I'm gonna have to go troubleshoot this. There's a few things to figure out on the Go agent. Let's try just testing, because I didn't run this in an elevated context. Let's just see if we run it in an elevated context, if we get anything useful. 1 second. So I'll have to check. Okay. Oh, no. We'll just see if we have a permissions issue going on here. Oh, the file name. The agent's still running, so the file name's in use, so we'll just have to give it a different name. Yeah, so we should get a second agent back now. Yep. Huh. I did run this as, yeah, okay. So let's just try taskless again. See if we hadn't get a different response now that we're in an elevated context. No, there's something wrong with the buff. So what were we gonna try and do? Like an LSAS dump? Yeah, nano dump. What was it, 940? Oh. So when we run shell commands, it is going to spawn a PowerShell like process temporarily while it gets the information back. Or well, it depends on the agent. Some of them have their own way of doing it. But let's just dump. We were going to dump our PowerShell. Oh, there's a LSS. I don't think there's anything in there, but let's just do a nano dump on it. Okay. Never mind. Okay, let's see. Let's do some troubleshooting live on our stream. So this isn't the open version. I'm gonna go see if maybe these are bugs that Anthony has fixed in our sponsored version. Because if it is, it means that the bug fixes are coming out to you guys on like Monday. And this is a beta, so it is supposed to have. It's not unusual that we have a few problems in here. That's part of the problem. Oh yeah, no, we want to go to this one because this one has the proper one installed that I've been running updates on. Let me check out sponsors main, or not mains, private main. Okay, so this is all gonna run. And then all that's going on here is this box on the SSH key has a password protection on it, so you have to enter that. But other than that, just the normal install process. So I'm just creating stages again. Okay, yeah, so let me go look, because I know this was an issue that we opened. Yeah, task list BOF error. Okay, this has been open for a while. So like I said, I thought we fixed this. Let's go look at our pull request, document to. Okay, let me check something real quick. Huh. Swear I thought we fixed this. Okay. We will have to come back and try and deal with. I will have to talk to Anthony about what those issues are, as to why that is going on, because I know we identified that was agent comms, OneDrive fix. Yeah, I don't. We'll have to figure that out. But It's just all that's going on. It shouldn't be a hard fix. Is an issue in the database where it's checking the Go version against the minimum version for PowerShell instead of the PowerShell version against the PowerShell version. So it's not a huge bug. We just need to go fix it. But okay. I think we're getting close to time. Does anyone have any questions? If not, let's see what we got. I'm heading to Chicago to visit some families weekend, so that should be really fun. With lots of things going on, and let's go see what's going on in the wonderful world of Google. Let's go see if there's any new malware campaigns that came out today. So that came out. Some Colombian stuff is interesting. Huh. But search isn't producing a lot, because I know there was just a Lazarus group thing that came out. Yeah, the Bybit one, not just, but I thought there was something else that also came out. Yeah, no, it's all still Bybit stuff. Let's see if there's anything in the wonderful world of PowerShell malware. Yep, malware campaign and clearfake, which just uses like a clickjacking, or not clickjack, the PowerShell cut and paste thing. Employs fake recapture, Cloudflare turnstile verification challenges, trick users in the yeah. Yeah, these things get quite complicated, but it's all stealing cryptocurrency, which is all really fun and interesting. Oh, here's a new PowerShell backdoor. Let's see. What are they doing? To Black Basta publicly, so the aim would be breach and ransom activities, yeah. They focused on obfuscation. Oh, sure, that's the actual PowerShell code. That's not useful. No. Let's see. How about malicious batch files? Those are old school. Oh, get out of here with your stupid. There we go. Let's see anything. So Microsoft 365 attack campaign. Less than 6-0 days. Wow. Dealing with the obscure bat malware campaign, obfuscated batch scripts going back to the 90s, actually early 2000s. But to deploy obfuscated batch script to deploy a rootkit, which is pretty interesting. Interesting. I'm gonna have to figure out how they're hiding all this stuff. It says they're using user mode hooking to hide stuff from like Task Manager and Explorer, which is interesting because those should be hooking in at a lower level than user mode to get a lot of this information. So That's very interesting. Huh. Very, very interesting. Oh, thanks for the flight. I'm actually taking a train to Chicago. I'm not flying. The train from St. Louis to Chicago is like super awesome. It's very, very convenient. Um, Unfortunately, the one we're on tomorrow doesn't have Wi-Fi. It's the only downside of the one we're on. It's the Texas Eagle, which is starts in Dallas, I think, and goes all the way to Chicago. And it is like a nicer train in terms of like how nice the seats and stuff are, but it doesn't have built-in Wi-Fi spots. At least last time I rode it, it didn't. So I'm hoping that it'll get Wi-Fi spots soon. But thanks everyone for joining. Sorry I was a few minutes late, but we're at the top of the hour. Have a good weekend. Enjoy your stuff and keep hacking.